Hello, welcome to the Sound of Science, the place where we deconstruct unscientific bogus and silly scams. Let's go get them. Hello, you wonderful people. Today I stumbled upon a video on a YouTube channel called the Logan Joy Show. And the title of the video is Why Atheism Is Stupid. Now, I've seen hundreds of videos with similar titles, and usually they are pretty silly. But okay, let's have a look. Please stay around till the end of the video, because in the final part, this guy is unintentionally getting extremely funny.
I would like to break down very quickly why I believe atheism is stupid and why you shouldn't believe it.
Alright, stop right there. Logan says that his video will explain why you should not believe atheism. Right from the start, right from the very first sentence, it kinda looks as if Logan doesn't understand what atheism is. Of course, it's already explained 1,000 times on YouTube. But apparently it hasn't reached Logan yet what atheism is, so I will repeat it once more. Atheism is not believing that a God exists. That is all. There are differences among atheists in this specific position. For example, there are atheists who claim that God doesn't exist, but that is not the general meaning of atheism. To keep it short and sweet, all atheism is not believing that a God exists. So, atheism does not believe any specific thing. The whole point of atheism is that it doesn't believe a specific thing. There is nothing to believe or disbelieve about atheism because it doesn't make any claims. What you can try to do with atheism is make it irrelevant. You can do that by producing crystal clear, undisputable evidence that scientifically proves that a God exists. Because if you produce evidence like that, most atheists, of course, would recognize that a God exists. But the problem is that that is exactly the kind of evidence that you would need to believe in a God in the first place. And unfortunately, evidence like that has never been produced in the history of mankind. And that is an important reason why atheism exists. And possibly that's one of the reasons why more and more people in the Western world turn their back on organized Christian religion. They just don't see any evidence for the existence of a God.
In public schools, we were taught that this Big Bang...
Stop right there. You're only 7 seconds into your video, and you already seem to make your second mistake. You now start talking about the Big Bang. The Big Bang has got nothing to do with atheism. Atheism doesn't make any statement about the Big Bang. Someone could be an atheist, yet believe that the Big Bang did not happen. Of course, many atheists recognize the facts of the Big Bang. But that is not a property of atheism itself. So if you want to make a case against atheism, anything you say about the Big Bang is pretty irrelevant.
Everything that has a design has a designer. Everything that was made has a maker.
But that doesn't mean anything. You first have to prove that the universe, trees and jellyfish are actually designed. Saying that things that are designed have a designer doesn't prove that specific items are designed. If you want to prove design, then show us the design concepts, the design blueprints, the design studio, the product specifications, the prototypes, the production process. Those are phenomena we usually consider to be evidence for designed items. If you show me the blueprints for a sunflower or a hedgehog, then we could continue this argument.
It is impossible for something to make itself out of nothing.
Again, that's completely irrelevant for a debate about atheism. Atheists do not claim that things make themselves out of nothing. If at all relevant, Such an argument seems to be more problematic for a Christian worldview, because if you can't make things out of nothing, then what materials did God use to make the universe if things cannot be made out of nothing? Those materials must have been already there before God started his creation spree.
Because in the heart of every atheist is a hatred for God, not unbelief.
This is one of those remarks that annoys me because it really shows a certain level of arrogance that I absolutely hope is not typical for Christians. This guy pretends to know what all atheists think. He says they all hate God. You've no idea what they think. Just the same, I have no idea what all Christians think.
Genesis 1:1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth.
So, now you're quoting the Bible. Why? That doesn't prove anything. You're even raising your voice in the beginning as if you are producing some kind of important argument or evidence. But all a Bible quote proves is that Bible quotes exist. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. That is no evidence. That is a claim. Like, in the beginning there was Sauron and he lived in Mount Doom. That's also just a claim. And it will remain just a claim until you show solid evidence that it is true. You see, the whole idea of progress in science, and even in society in general, is that we find evidence to support claims so that we can establish what is true. Quoting the Bible brings us not 1 inch closer to finding out what is true. The Bible is a book with 1,000 claims, and none of those claims should be considered reality without sufficient evidence to support them.
You can say, well, if God is so good, why does bad things happen?
Yes, that is a good question. If God is so good, then why do bad things happen? And that indeed is a question that atheists are asking all the time, and rightly so. I could make it more specific for you. God is a baby killer. You see, in Genesis, God clearly states that he's going to kill everyone in the world by flooding them and drowning them. And then in Genesis, he actually kills everyone on the planet by drowning them. So he also killed all the babies. Therefore, the Christian God is, according to the Bible, a baby killer. I have conveyed this message to Christians many, many times. And you know what their response often is? Those babies have sinned and were not innocent. How deluded must one be to justify the killing of babies with such an insane argument? But okay, I suppose that is not what you're going to say.
Well, what is bad to an atheist?
Well, what is bad to an atheist? That is different for every atheist. Atheism doesn't make claims about good or bad. But in my case, as an atheist, I think killing babies, for example, like your God does in the Bible, I think that's bad. And I surely hope that you agree with me that killing babies is bad. And asking this question, what is bad to an atheist, as if it's some kind of special atheism problem, again shows that either you don't know what atheism is, or perhaps your remark about atheists hating God is kind of a projection, because it almost seems as if you hate atheists yourself. You look a bit angry. But to stick to the question, what is bad according to atheists? Well, I think murder, rape and torture are bad. The kind of stuff that your God chooses to leave unchecked. Do you think that murder, rape and torture are bad? I surely hope you do. Then doesn't it bother you that your God just lets murder, rape and torture exist?
And you came from nothing. Therefore, your opinion means nothing.
Now, that is another remark that really doesn't demonstrate some Christian love and forgiveness. My opinion means nothing, that's what you say. Again, that sounds pretty hateful. Everyone's opinion matters. You may not like the opinion of atheists, but we matter. I hope you understand that, and opinions of Christians matter as well.
Christians have always been on the defensive. I'm taking it to the offensive.
Christians have always been on the defensive? this is really pretty shocking. I know you said you went to school at some point in your life, but didn't they teach you history? Have you ever heard of the Crusades? Those were aggressive and violent wars initiated by Christian regimes with the purpose of destroying societies that were not Christian. Have you ever heard of the witch hunts and the Spanish Inquisition? Do you know that a few hundred years ago in Europe, people were still being tortured and murdered by the government if they denied the existence of the Christian God? Christians have always been on the defensive. Christian regimes have been some of the most aggressive and murderous regimes in the history of mankind. Why do you think that an entire continent such as South America is still predominantly Christian today? That is because it was violently invaded by Christian regimes who forced their religion upon local people.
This world has perfect structure and order.
This world has perfect structure and order. Amazing. This is Gen Z at its worst. Judging from the comfort of a life in the richest and most powerful country in the world may look pretty perfect and structured to you. But if you're one of the almost 1 billion people who have to survive on $2 a day, if you grow up in a slum and your younger brothers and sisters die from preventable diseases, if you live in a nation where women and children are systematically being kidnapped, tortured and raped, then you don't think that this world is perfectly ordered and structured. And it's pretty astounding that you worship a God who you think created this order and structure.
Atheists want to believe that somehow everything that we see today came from some random explosion.
You really need to read a bit more about what atheism is. I already explained that atheism doesn't make any statement about the origin of the universe. All atheism is not believing that a God exists.
Atheists have to believe he existed because historically he existed. What does BC stand for? What does AD stand for? Why do we recognize him with 2 major holidays?
Oh, but that's another one of your very silly arguments. You see, the Muslims use a completely different calendar than the Christians. They don't use BC or AD. Now, does that prove that Muhammad is the real prophet? Interesting. Hindus have totally different holidays than the Western world has. Does that mean the Hindu gods exist? Interesting as well.
Atheism is the biggest lie. Ugh, I almost choked on my gum.
And you didn't choke in your gum because Lord Gandalf and Lord Frodo have been merciful to you. Praise them. I really can't cover everything this guy says, but there are some parts that are just too funny to not address. You must listen to this. There goes.
And if you want to tell me this world is billions of years old and that I'm an idiot for believing that it's thousands of years old, why on earth did it take so long to invent a toilet?
Oh, this is hilarious. He actually uses the invention of toilets as an argument for the existence of God. It seems as if he says if the world was billions of years old, toilets would have been invented much sooner. This is so surreal that I don't know what to say about it. I'm baffled.
And that we evolved from monkeys. Like Steve Harvey said, why do we still got monkeys? If we evolved from monkeys, why do we still have monkeys?
Did he really say that? I think he did. This can't be true. Let's rewind this.
If we evolved from monkeys, why do we still have monkeys?
Yes, he said it. He thinks that evolution claims we evolved from monkeys. This is why we need schools. And this is why we need public schools without religious indoctrination. Exactly the kind of school that this guy went to when he was a kid. But he didn't pay attention. And now he calls atheists stupid.
The Bible says even a fool believes in God. And I believe that's the truth.
So, you made a video accusing all atheists of being stupid. And in that same video, you show that you don't understand what atheism is. You show that you don't understand how evolution works. And most of all, you show that you even don't understand your own Bible. So for once, I will agree with you. I won't speak for all Christians because many of them are good and kind people who are educated and smart. But in this particular case, yes, even a fool believes in God. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you at the next video. But wait, are you still here? If you're still here, then please consider to subscribe to my channel. If you like my content, and if you think, hey, that dude got style, then smash that subscribe button. It would help me tremendously to make more videos. So thanks in advance, and I'll see you at the next video.